Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is 5:32 p.m. The Steelers are 7-2. Lee, what are your thoughts on the game? Big win, big comeback win for the Steelers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a game I thought they would win. I figured it'd be close. I didn't think it was going to be a 1 point close game like this, but it was definitely a close game. The Steelers were able to pull it off there at the end. Great game from what I saw from the second half of the game. From highlights I saw from the first half, and then coming into the game in the third quarter, wasn't looking too promising at first. It was looking, a little nerve wracking, but the Steelers were able to do what they needed to do and put points on the board and make stops where they needed to make stops and come out with a victory. So definitely a good game on the Steelers' end, and coming out on a victory, up 7-2 now, atop of the AFC North.
Yeah, and they got immediate rewards from their trades. Mike Williams ends up getting the game-winning touchdown, 32-yard TD to win the game, to make the final score 28-27. Preston Smith, the other guy they traded for, also had a sack. So the two guys they get this week come in and have immediate impacts to help them win. Like you said, it was a hard-fought win. Down late, concerns for sure. I was concerned. Maybe you weren't concerned. I was pretty worried at points toward this game. But I think you can't say enough about the veteran presence of Russell Wilson. He didn't have like a spectacular game overall, but ends up 14-28, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But he's just a pro, and he showed himself to be a pro here. They were down. Redskins come out, immediately score to make it 24-14 at the beginning of the third quarter. Things started to look shaky. We got to, but the Steelers bounced back a couple times throughout the end of this game, and fortunately, we're able to come away with a victory. What are your opening thoughts on any of the players you thought really stepped up today?
Yeah, Russell Wilson, like you said, it wasn't like a spectacular game for him, but like you said, him as the veteran, he went out there and still competed, threw for 3 touchdowns, like you said. And the guy, like you said, we got for during the trade deadline, scored the game-winning touchdown, which was great. We talked about him earlier in the week, and he was excited to be here, and he was ready to, be put out there and play wherever he was needed, when he was needed. And he got out there and did what he needed to do there at the very end of the game and score the game-winning touchdown, like you said. And the other guy on defense, Cam Hayward, the captain, he's been having a spectacular season. 2 sacks for him, and Preston Smith, with a sack, so definitely 2 of the guys that, we talked about earlier in the week, from the trade deadline, coming in, making plays. And then, of course, Cam Hayward doing what he does best. What was interesting, though, was I think there was a sack not a sack, a stat that I saw that there was like 50 snaps for TJ Watt, and he had 0 tackles, and he had just 1 QB hit, which was just interesting, just the way they were playing him. So it was just a very, very interesting game. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they put a lot into making sure that it wasn't going to be TJ Watt to beat them today. Overall, that it was a weird game. I thought that they'd be able to score this. Commanders were able to score the Steelers, but I did predict I think 27-23 victory for the Steelers. What did your thoughts on Jaden Daniels? First time seeing him, a rookie guy. He ends up 17-34 for 202. He was sacked 3 times for 20 yards. Not much running. I expected more running out of him. He only had 3 carries for 5 yards. I don't know. I just haven't been watching him closely enough. I thought he was more of a guy that they would have like design runs. I don't know if he is going through some injuries or what. I'm going to check to see what he's got on the year carry wise. But what were your thoughts on the fact that he didn't really use his legs at all today?
Yeah, for what I've seen, during the season with him,
coming into the game, 82 carries for 459 yards,
wow,
4 touchdowns. So this is way below what he's been doing all year. To hold him to only 3 carries for 5 yards was very impressive. They have been a team to score rushing touchdowns, and they did do that today too. They had Eckler ended up with 2 TDs. Jeremy McNichols had a touchdown himself, so they did get 3 rushing touchdowns on this game. But Jaden Daniels' legs were not a factor at all in this game.
Yeah. He, from what I've seen coming into this game, I mean, he's definitely been a threat with his legs. The Steelers, I think, Mike Tomlin talked about it in the post game or the pregame, press conference. The running, game was something that they were going to need to stop and be able to put to a minimum during this game. And I think that, they did what they needed to do. The Steelers have been just phenomenal when it comes to running quarterbacks. I mean, we play Lamar Jackson twice a year and we contain him pretty well. And I think maybe the Steelers just had a game plan with a spy on him the whole game and, kept him to minimal, rushing attempts and rushing yards. Maybe he has an injury going on. I don't know. I can't remember if they said anything during the game, but it just goes to show what the Steelers do when it comes to running quarterbacks, how they're able to contain guys like that. But overall, before, he looked like a decent quarterback. I think he did well with some of his passes I saw today, but the Steelers were able to do what they needed to do to contain him in the pocket.
So, yeah, this game ended with 3 big plays, I'd say. I'm going to throw them all out there first. First was here's that touchdown from Mike Williams. First catch as a Steeler after getting traded this week. Here we go. Here's the touchdown, the game-winning touchdown that they got.
3rd and long. Wilson floats it way upstairs. Williams, he's got it. Touchdown.
Beautiful play, beautiful touchdown for them there.
Yep.
That was about 2 minutes, 20 seconds left, so the Commanders do get the ball back. They're driving a little bit. It comes a 4th down play. I'm going to throw that one up here now. This is 4th down for the Commanders, about the 50-yard line.
11 of 11. Daniels on 4th and 9, delivers it. Wow, it's really close.
So as that play is unfolding, I thought he had it. I'm talking before the replay. I thought he had the first down for sure. But it turns out he is called short. They review the play. Balls turn over to the Steelers, and that's pretty much it. What are your thoughts on that play there at the end there? You thought it was a turnover on down?
I thought it was a first down at first, just for how close he was, from where I saw it on the marker. So I thought, the Commanders were going to drive because at that point, I think they still had 3 timeouts, I think, at that point. So I was thinking that they were going to drive down the field there. And so I thought it was a first down when I first saw it.
Yeah. And then one final play here. I thought it was beautiful to see this game end. Everyone thought the Steelers were going to come out and punt. And I even got up and walked away for a second. I came back in time to see the game clinching play and offsides by the Commanders.
And there is a jump.
I mean,
yeah,
I didn't catch the laughter, but there was just constant laughter by everyone on the Steelers sideline. Russell Wilson had a little shimmy to show everyone. Also, it was just a fun little end of the game. The Steelers hold on. They are now 7-2, atop the division by themselves. Once again, even after the Ravens were able to win on Thursday against the Bengals, but they're sitting up at the top, 7-2, 3rd in the conference, 8-2 Bills ahead of them, and 9-0.
Yeah, Chiefs.
9-0 Chiefs are the 2 teams ahead of them right now. 7-2. I think I predicted 7-2, and you predicted 9-0.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fruition, this is a very solid spot for them. They got to go 4-4 the rest of the way to get to 11-6. 11-6 is a great record to have in the AFC. You got to think you're going to be at least the top wild card. Maybe not. Maybe something crazy happens. But like the AFC South, I don't think they're going to have any teams that are going to be wild card. Looking at it now, the Colts are in second place. They already have 6 losses. So you're looking at a battle with the Ravens for the division. I think 11-6, 12-5 probably wins the division. It'll be close. It'll be a close call. A lot of these schedules are really tough for the teams in this division. What are you thinking? Are you giving up on the number 1 seed in the bye at this point, or what are your thoughts? They do get to play the Chiefs on Christmas Day.
We do play the Chiefs. I don't want to say I give up yet. I mean, I'm thinking if they can stay at the trajectory that they're at, I think that they can, easily get, number 2 or 3 or 2 seed, at best. But, depending on, how things play out with the rest of the season, I mean, there's still a lot of season to play, and you just don't know how it's going to how things are going to pan out. Maybe the Chiefs go on a 4-game losing streak the next couple of weeks. You just don't know what's going to happen. The NFL is weird like that, and so the Steelers definitely have a tough schedule going on ahead of them. They're going to have all 6 of their division games now. They're going to play the Eagles and the Chiefs here, the rest, the remaining of the rest of the schedule here. And so it's going to definitely get tough. This was the first test that they needed to pass here, which they did after this bye week right here. And they did what they needed to do. It wasn't the best of wins, but, a win's a win. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And just hoping that they can continue on with how, the style play that they're doing with, making wins where they need to, get them. So it was definitely a good game. I'm happy we got the win. Like you said, you were at 7, you had them at 7-2 already at this point. I have a 9-0. Of course, I feel as though they could have still been there, but it's still kind of close to where we're both at, to where we thought they would be right now at this point. So it's definitely good to see them where they're at right now.
And I mean, the Chiefs very likely should have lost today. They were able to block a kick at the end. So, I mean, I guess blocking the kick, it's not like the guy missed on his own. That is a play that you're making as a team. Najee didn't have the game he's had lately. Still ended up with a touchdown there. Between him and Jalen Warren, you ended up getting over 100 yards. You want to go through the team stats in general?
Yeah, I can go through them. So again, final score: Steelers 28, Commanders 27. Total yards: Steelers had 312 to the Commanders 242. Pass yards were about the same. Steelers 172 pass yards to the Commanders 182 pass yards. Rush yards, which was what we had, 140 for the Steelers, 60 for the Commanders. They definitely, that was like a test that, Mike Tomlin wanted to, he talked about during that press conference. It was something they needed to stop, and they held them to only 60 yards rushing, which was just good. Yards per play were about the same, 4.2 for the Steelers to 4.1 for the Commanders. First down, Steelers had 20, Commanders had 18. Third down efficiency, 8 for 17 for the Steelers, and 4 for 5 for the Commanders. Fourth down, Steelers were 1 for 2. Commanders were 0 for 1. Total plays, Steelers 75 total plays to the Commanders 59, which is amazing. Holding their offense off the field that long. Each team had 3 sacks. Steelers punted the ball 5 times. Commanders punted the ball 6 times. Penalties about the same. Steelers 5 for 49. Commanders 5 for 41. Each team fumbled the ball once. Steelers threw 1 interception. Commanders did not throw any. And time possession is what you want to see. Steelers 36 minutes and 10 seconds to the Commanders 23 minutes and 50 seconds. So they definitely held on to the ball a lot longer. Definitely almost an even matched game here with a lot of the stats and stuff like that. But the Steelers were able to pull out a victory. A lot better with the penalties, that the Steelers did this week. Hoping they can improve on the third down efficiency. But I like to see, when you see the time of possession, when the Steelers have the ball longer, usually that means you're winning the game. So, it was a good game by the Steelers. They did what they needed to do. They held the Commanders only 60 yards rushing and, held on to the ball a lot longer.
Yeah, that time of possession number, I didn't even realize it. Because they got a short field, but the Steelers came back in that muff punt and got a short field of their own. So yeah, that is really impressive. I really did not recognize that watching that it was that big of a gap. That's pretty significant. 13-minute difference between the two teams.
Yeah.
I think that's the main takeaway I got there. Penalties down for both teams. That was nice to see. And then total yards, you almost got what is that? 60 yard there. That's not that bad, but the per play average is about the same. 4.2 for the Steelers, 4.1 for the
Commanders.
So that's about the same there. The sacks for Russell Wilson. What do you think? Thoughts on those today? I think that was a little different, but I mean, Washington's had a good pass rush, I think, for most of the season. Washington's a really good team. These two teams were really evenly matched. And you see that in the final score. You see that in the records. We got a 28-27 score. We got a team that's 7-2. We got a team that's 7-3. I think overall, I was really impressed with Washington and the way they played.
Yeah, they definitely have been a team I did not expect to be where they're at this year. I mean, they're playing phenomenal on all sides of the field. You know, their rookie quarterback is definitely not looking like a rookie out there. He looks like a veteran while he's out there playing from what we've seen. And like you said, this was definitely like an evenly matched team, you know, two teams going at it. Almost, you know, even with the stats and things like that, you know. But yeah, I mean, you could only do so much, you know. I mean, it's not every week where you're going to be able to protect the quarterback every week and stop sacks from happening. I mean, it's just going to be what it is, but at least we were able to get 3 sacks of our own and, you know, and keep Jaden Daniels in the pocket and not be able to run as much as versatile as he is, you know, outside of the pocket with his legs, you know. But yeah, I mean, you can only do so much. The line, I get, you know, they did what they could, but the Commanders are a very, very, really good team. And, you know, we just happened to play them a little bit better today.
Yeah, so going through the scoring in this game, the two teams traded punts to 3 and outs to start the game. Steelers had the ball first, and then the Steelers come with a 7-play, 70-yard drive to make it 7-0. Here's that touchdown catch by George Pickens. A pretty impressive catch by.
Hooks a pass, looking, end zone, George Pickens.
So Pickens ended up with 5 catches for 91 yards and that touchdown there. He was pretty impressive today, I think.
Yeah.
Still things going on that frustrates you. You see on the field, him tugging on a face mask at one point. It was a situation where you don't want to get a penalty there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he scores there to make it 7-0. Steelers are able to force another 3 and out. And then the next drive, the Steelers try a fake punt on the I shouldn't even say they tried. They ended up faking a punt, but I think it was something that Killebrew probably called on the field just because of where they were on the field. There was no one out there with James Pierre, but James Pierre is not able to get the ball. So the Commanders end up with just short field there, 3 plays, 15-yard touchdown for them to tie the game up 7-7. Steelers get the ball back, punt. We trade 2 3 and outs again, punt. Steelers get the ball, go 5 plays, 25 yards for another punt, but that punt is muffed. Steelers get the ball, 5 plays, 14 yards to make it 14-7. And here's that touchdown here. I'm pretty sure that's the Najee. Is that the Najee touchdown?
Not
that's
yet.
Pat Fryermouth.
Yeah.
Here's Fryermouth.
They just get the snap off. Lacing it to Fryermuth for the touchdown.
So yeah, Pat Fryermuth makes it 14-7 with a 3-yard touchdown. The Commanders come back. Next drive goes 6 plays, 40 yards, end up with a field goal to make it 14-10. Punt by the Steelers, 6 plays, 12 yards. Commanders come back before the half and are able to score on a 15-play, 94-yard drive to make it 17-14.
Wow.
That touchdown was scored with 16 seconds left in the half. At that point, I was a little frustrated for sure. Game wasn't out of hand, but you could see that the Commanders weren't a joke. They were a team that you had to worry about, especially because they were going to get the ball and start the second half.
Yeah, I mean, especially being able to drive 94 yards on us. I mean, it's something that we have seen with the Steelers defense. I mean, just not, you know, giving up long play drives like that, you know, and not being able to hold a team like that. I mean, that's where things start to get frustrating for real, you know, for this team, you know, what you see on a weekly basis, you know, but I of course you're frustrated, but it's not that it's not like a blowaway yet at that point, you know, so it's still a close game.
Yeah, there were some frustrating penalties by Porter Jr. on that drive. He didn't have a great game himself. Hopefully he can turn it around. I know we had graded him out poorly too at our midseason grades. He's still a very, very valuable guy on this team. And I think long term he's going to be fine. They always talk about sophomore slumps. Maybe he's going through something like that this year as we're at the midway point. What are your thoughts on how he played today and any of his play overall?
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like every week it's somebody different for this team that's, you know, making penalties, you know, and causing something like that. But I mean, yeah, maybe it is a sophomore slump. He was guarding Terry McLaughlin the whole game, I think.
Yeah, McLaurin. Yeah,
McLaurin. I'm sorry. I think
he's a good guard.
He's an underrated, I think, wide receiver. I don't think he gets a lot of credit, you know, and he's, you know, you can only do so much, you know, while you're, you know, guarding, you know, as a cornerback, guarding a wide receiver, but you can't be making, foolish penalties like that, on a long drive like that to give up yards and things like that, But I think he's going to be all right. I think he'll turn things around hopefully by the end of the season, So we'll see how things play out for him.
Yep, I think he'll be good. But going back to the scoring, Washington comes out 5 plays, 71 yards, quick touchdown, 2 minutes. They make it 24-14. But the Steelers come back 9 plays, 75 yards, about 4 minutes, 49 seconds to make it 24-21. The two teams trade. Let me show that touchdown. That's the Najee touchdown there.
Yeah.
Handoff. Harris walks it in for the touchdown.
Here, little run there to make it 24-21. The Commanders come back, get a field goal of their own, 7 plays, 19 yards after two teams traded punts. Steelers punt was not great. Waitman's been pretty good this year, but that was not one of his best punts. They only had to go 7 plays, 19 yards to get that field goal. Next drive, the Steelers get it, go 3 plays, -4 yards total. Ends with a pretty much just a third down punt from Wilson. He threw the ball deep. It was scary for a second there. I don't know if you remember. It looked like Pickens may not have touched him on the interception. It turns out he did touch him, but it was looking for a second like the Commanders were going to get the ball in Steelers territory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was it's not something you wanted to see, especially an interception right there. I mean, the Steelers have been, pretty good this season with, not turning the ball over, and they had that interception right there at that point, and it was like a little scary, and like you said, I didn't think that Pickens had touched them at that point. I thought that they were going to get close enough field down the field, for they were closer to the end zone, to maybe possibly score again, but thank goodness there was a review and we saw that he was touched and he was down back there.
So defense steps up, 4 plays, 12 yards, ends in a punt. Steelers get the ball back and they drive down the field. 14 plays, 86 yards, 7 minutes, but it ends at the goal line with a Jaylen Warren fumble. At that point, it's starting to look frustrating. The Commanders are getting the ball back. It's 27-21. Thoughts on that? Where's your head at that point?
Yeah, it's like, here we go. It's just one thing after another. Yeah, it's frustrating with this team because you get all the way down to the 1 yard line, you fumble the ball, and it's like, come on, guys. Like, you got to hold on to the ball, especially in the red zone like that. You can't give up turnovers. And like I just said, we had done well with turnovers, and they turned the ball over twice now at this point. And it's like, it's definitely frustrating because, now you're down, you're still down a score, and you need to get the ball back. So, and it wasn't looking that well.
Yeah. But defense steps up once again, 3 plays, 2 yards, and the Commanders have to punt out of their own end zone. It ends up being, let me see, probably, 60-yard punt, but Calvin Austin ends up getting a 17-yard return. Really solid return from him when the team needed him. Steelers get the ball back, 6 plays, 46 yards. You've seen it once. It showed again. This is how the Steelers get the lead.
3rd and long. Wilson floats it way upstairs. Williams, he's got it. Touchdown.
If there's ever been a touchdown or a play that we wanted to see and was teased all week, we were told how Mike Williams is ready to hit those moon balls or whatever you want to call those balls from Russell Wilson. He gets 1 play, 1 catch, 32 yards. He was brought in the field. I think they wanted to get him in there for 15 snaps or so. I don't know what he ended up with. It didn't seem like he was out there that much, but it's possible he was there and we just didn't get to see him. But that made the game 28-27. Commanders get the ball back, and we showed it before. 6 plays, 23 yards. Cannot convert a 4th down. Steelers get the ball back and finish it off. 5 plays, 12 yards, minute 18. Game over. The Steelers win 28-7. Hard-fought win, but it was a win that they earned, I think. You can't argue against how they played today, I think.
Yeah, they came in, coming into a stadium against a very tough team who's been playing very well this season. And you couldn't ask, any more from what the Steelers did today. They did everything they needed to do to win this game. Of course, there's always things to clean up, but like you said, hard fought game against a very tough and very good team. And they came in and they won the game, whether it was by 10 or by 1, they won the game. what needed to, they did what they needed to do, and they won the game, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
And another trend that has been when the Steelers are winning has been the case. After that first touchdown in the second half, here are the drives for the Commanders. 3 plays, 0 yards, 7 plays, 19 yards, 4 plays, 12 yards, 3 plays, 2 yards, 6 plays, 23 yards. The defense, after giving up that first touchdown in the second half, just was stout. And you can't ask for much more than that in the game. That's just against an offense who's been playing really well in the Commanders. It wasn't T.J. Watt today. It's been T.J. Watt a lot, but even him during at the end there, he did make a couple plays. But everyone seemed to step up defensively. And this team 7-2. Going back to that one more time. Thoughts on the defense in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, this has been their identity all season. They have been a second half team all season.
Mm-hmm.
They've started off slow, but they've been, holding teams to very few points in the second half, especially in that third quarter. They've done what they needed to do, that defense, holding them to short plays, and getting turnovers and making stops where they need to make them. And they did what they needed to do in that second half to seal a victory there at the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we'll go to Tomlin to finish it off. He had his press conference here at the end, or his post game. I got that set up here. Let me pull that up, and we can finish up with that and then head on out.
Man, I'm really appreciative of the efforts of the guys. From a tactical standpoint, I was really aggressive today, and they didn't always serve us well. We took the ball to start the game. We didn't do anything with it. And that probably positioned them to book in the half the way that they did. They got the last possession, the first half, the first possession, the second half. And I thought those 14 points really changed the texture of the game. But you live, man. You can't come in hostile environments versus good people and not be aggressively pursue victory. We're not going to live in our fears. That's just how we get down. Same thing on the fake punt. That is me. I own that. I'll do it again.
I'm gonna stop there. Okay, so yeah, there was a call there. I do like if they saw something there. I'm not mad at it. He's not mad at it.
Yeah.
You could Monday morning quarterback and say it was stupid to do that in that situation. It's 4th and 13. Blah 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 blah. But there was no one out there with Pierre. The ball was on him. He just happened to drop it there. Of course, we live in our fears and all that. All the Tomlins you're going to get. But he did make a good point too. To win a game where the Commanders were able to get a touchdown before the half and after the half is a good sign that this team is not bad and they can win games in tough situations.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just they came in, like he said, to a hostile environment, to a great team, and it was definitely going to be a tough game. And I love that he, owned up and took credit for the play. It's just what it is. And the other thing he talked about at the beginning of this, them getting the ball in that first drive. It's for some reason it just seems like they cannot get an opening drive touchdown. I don't know what is going on. It's very frustrating. We've been seeing it all season. We've seen it the past few seasons. It seems like it's just something they just are not good at doing. I don't know if it's nerves at the beginning of the game. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that we can, before the season ends, at least see one. Just one.
Let's see what else he has to say here.
But we didn't execute it, and so it was a bad idea. But our guys fought. They didn't blink. We got contributions in all 3 phases. We got contributions from old Steelers like Cam has been around forever. We got contributions from new Steelers, man, like Mike Williams and Preston. And we're just appreciative of all parties involved. It's a good team win. When you're coming into an environment like this, man, and you find a way to get it done, not only is it a well-earned victory, man, but there's some real growth associated with it. Knowledge of self individually and collectively, man, is a component of this thing as we push through this journey, man. And we learned a little bit about ourselves, hopefully in a positive way today. We had a lot of bumps and bruises.
I'm going to sum real quick. Yeah, it really was just a team win. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. And just looking at these stats that are rolling across the bottom, 23 carries, 53 yards, a touchdown, 1466 It's not these beautiful numbers. 14-28 from Wilson. He didn't get over 200 yards, but like it just was a good team win that they were able to grind out and get it at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, it was just a collective. Everybody seemed like to just make a play where they needed to make a play. Everybody did what they needed to do during this game. Like you said, it wasn't pretty, but they got the win. They got the win how they needed to get the win, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, he's going to go on some injuries.
People were able to go back. Here are two that I think did not. Dante Jackson with a hamstring did not. Alex Highsmith with an ankle did not. I think everybody else kind of in some form or fashion got back in the game.
Yeah, so Jackson, I didn't notice. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. Highsmith, we all got to see that one. He rolled his ankle there, stepping on another guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a sprain, nothing broken. But even with the sprain, you might be a couple weeks out. They got Preston Smith, so that kind of worked out. They're getting Herbig back healthy. So obviously, want Highsmith out there. He's an amazing player, but there is some depth right there right now, and hopefully he can get back soon.
Yeah, for sure. Hoping for full recovery from those guys. Like I didn't even realize Dante Jackson got hurt either.
Yeah.
But hoping for a full recovery from those guys. Hopefully nothing too crazy for Alex Highsmith either. I mean, like I said, we've talked about it when him and TJ Watt are on the field. They're just, they're the best duo edge rushers, in the league right now, and just hoping for the best. But like you said, we definitely got some depth now with the trade we made over with Preston Smith. So, and Nick Herbert coming back off of injury. So we should be good.
Yep. Let's hear some more from Tom here.
Questions?
Mike, quite aggressive mindset. Am I to assume you weren't going to go for it there on fourth down? You're trying.
We'll never know, will we? I'm a degenerate.
Throw like that.
That's fucking great.
I'm a degenerate.
Uh-huh. There's nothing else. Let's pull it back up.
Oh God, what a guy!
Just throw it up there and connect.
I've seen it a few times on highlight shows. It's a little better in person. Believe it.
How much grasp did Mike Williams have of the entire offense? What was he? Did you think he would be able to give you today?
He's a veteran guy. He's a quick study. We didn't throw everything at him, but we threw enough, particularly the one-dimensional ball, the passing circumstances. We didn't want him over there standing with us at the weightiest of moments.
Was Kelvin banged up or hurt or anything?
Yeah, big man, one-on-one ball. Yes, sir.
Yep. This is the best Tom. This is the best way to get Tom. He's feeling it. 7-2.
Yeah.
Good hard fought win where it's your guys beat the other guys. Yeah, this is perfect, Tom.
Yeah.
It's the closest NFL team I know to the 7-5-7. I know you're so focused on the game day and everything like that, but is it nice to come back here, see some faces in the crowd? And
you're right. I'm focused on the game. I appreciate my home, but I'm working today.
What do you think the quality of the receptions you had from your receiving corps today?
I've been trying to tell you guys all year that they make the plays when called upon, and that's just a mindset and idea. Their efforts make it real, and so keep watching.
Like you mentioned that this is a team that had never been stopped on fourth down. That was a critical stop for you guys late in the game.
Big time, But we did a lot today that they weren't accustomed to. They had only had 13 3-and-outs through 9 football games. That was an agenda of ours. 47% of their drives reached the red zone. That was an agenda of ours. They're a dangerous group. They're a hot group. But we want to be the firemen. We want to put that stuff out.
I wanted to give a serious response, and then it comes with this fireman comment at the end. He's right though. Like that, the 3-and-out, that was impressive in the defense today. Holding them out of the red zone, I guess. 27 points is a lot of points. But they were given a short field at one point, and a couple of times they've had some things going on. But that's a good good offense that they did stop. And fortunately, the Steelers had some firemen out there.
They put the fire out. Yeah, that's.
What does it say about this team losing the turnover battle, but still finding a way to win the game?
To the guys go to credit. They're tough-minded. They are. Particularly in some of the field position things, man. In the second half, man, they had big kick returns and things of that nature. Our defense really got tight when they needed to, man, and can't say enough about the efforts of guys like James Pierre and guys like that had an opportunity to step up because of the attrition component of play.
Mike, you come in thinking you try that fake punt that early?
Absolutely.
Mike, I know you get some version of this question a lot, but Washington's trying to get where y'all have been for 40 years in terms of the consistency year after year. What's the biggest challenge to meeting that standard every year, and how do you go about doing it?
I think we just have a small picture mentality. We don't talk about the challenges of present day in reference to what's happened. We feel the urgency of now. That stuff that's on our resume is just on our resume. There's enough to have your attention in present day, and that's where we stay mentally.
Dan's a guy you know from William & Mary. What can you say about him and the job he's done this year?
I'll say that I'm not surprised by it. That's my brother. Man, we came together at a very young age, man, and chasing our dreams. Shout out to Virginia Military Institute, man. Place got us both started. I love that guy, man. He's a top quality coach. I'd be misleading you if I told you I was anything other than, that's what I expect from him.
The type of offense you know are with Russ and that type of team you are, how close is that to being what you envisioned and hoped for?
It was enough for us to win today. And we'll get back in the lab because we got a real hot opponent next week, and so we'll see.
Same thought process. The guy you prepared for today at quarterback has done a lot of great things this year. The guy you're preparing for next week has done a lot of great things. Is there any similarities or differences?
Man, be real slow comparing people to Lamar Jackson. That's a multi-time MVP. That's Mr. Jackson. We'll see Mr. Jackson in a few days.
Coach, Jaden Daniels, successful season thus far individually as a rookie. What kind of homework or what kind of talk did you have with the players on kind of stopping his rushing, passing prowess today?
It's a template for us. We have a mode of operation when we face extreme quarterback mobility, and that's what he has. He also can throw it very well. But being in the North, facing guys like Mr. Jackson is somewhat familiar to us.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Mr. Jackson. No, I know it's fun, but he just said something there that I really want to hit on is he mentioned that they have a template, and that's how it's been. They have shown themselves to be the team that can hold Lamar Jackson in check more than anyone. Of course, saying it today, he's going to go off tomorrow next week and destroy the Steelers. But they have a template in place to beat guys like this, and template's a really good word, I think, for it, because it's not just I don't think it's just a scheme. It's the way that they play against these guys to keep them in check is just impressive, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had Lamar Jackson's number, when we've played him, because we play the Ravens twice a year. And since he's been in the league, we've had his number. Running quarterbacks that we've seen in the past, I'm pretty sure they've done very well with. And again, I hit on this during the last episode we did, that we were going to face at least 5 running quarterbacks this next little thing. We're going to have Lamar Jackson twice, Jaden Daniels. We're going to have Mahomes, who's mobile, and Jalen Hurts, coming up. And, it's just going to be a test. And like you said, they are able to put a stop to, and contain running quarterbacks. They keep them in the pocket and things like that. And that's just what the Steelers have done best with the defense. They're really well at that. And they know what they're doing. It just doesn't seem like a lot of teams know what to do, but the Steelers do know what to do when it comes to mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they showed in the second half their final score. The Steelers win 28-7. Do you want to finish it off with an MVP?
Yeah, I think got to go with Cam Hayward. He definitely stepped up.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Stepped up, got 2 sacks on the rookie quarterback right there. I mean, he's definitely been playing well this season. He, was letting everybody know, I still can play this game and I can still do what I need to do to be an elite player in this league. And he's definitely showing that this season, especially in this game, we're getting 2 sacks and, holding Mr. Daniels into the pocket, as Mike Tomlin would say.
I'm going to give it to Mike Williams.
Okay.
Game-winning touchdown, first game there. I know it might be a cheap one. Maybe there are guys that deserve it more. You're right with Cam Hayward. He had a good game with his 2 sacks. But I'm going to give it to Mike Williams. You get a game-winning touchdown. you're going to be my MVP.
Yeah.
So that's my guy. Steelers win. Tough game, 28-27. Now they're 7-2, face the Ravens. We're about to have a bunch of divisional games in a row here. I'm ready to have it, and let's see what happens next, right, Lee?
Let's see what happens. It's going to be a good final, 8-game stretch of the season for the Steelers here. It's going to be tough, but I think the Steelers, if they can at least win 4 or 5 of these games, they definitely have a chance to be in the playoffs. And, all these little fires they got, they're going to be putting them out because they're the firemen.
Yep, 100%. I wasn't ready for that. We'll end it on that. We'll end it on the third.